Next game is the Texans and the Bengals. The Texans pulled this one out 30-27 in dramatic fashion. Game-winning field goal by their kicker that they just signed, Matt Amendola. CJ Stroud, 23-39, 356 yards, a touchdown, an interception. He also had 2 carries for 8 yards and a rushing touchdown. He's locked up Rookie of the Year for sure. I wouldn't say that he is an MVP pick because the Texans are only 5-4. Like, there's Jalen Hurts out there. There are guys who are more deserving than him, but he is absolutely locked in as the Rookie of the Year. Just amazing stuff from him. I think it's going to come down at some point, down relatively, because he was giving us like Matthew Stafford sort of level production at the beginning of the year until these last 2 games where he just exploded. So expect him to come down a little bit. But having said that, he is still a very viable every week start. Not an elite start like a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen, someone like that. But he's still a tremendous option because he's just on absolute fire right now. Devin Singletary, 30 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown. Monster stuff. So the Texans' running game has been just putrid up to this point until today. Like, Devin Singletary was terrible last week when he had all the carries, but all of a sudden, 30 carries, 150 yards. I don't think anyone saw this coming. This is insane. You might as well hold him if Dameon Pierce starts to miss more time, but if Pierce comes back, it's going to be really interesting to see how this work ends up getting divided because so far, Singletary is the only one who has had an absolute explosion like this. Dameon Pierce hasn't had a game like this yet. So keep an eye on Singletary. I would just be weary about playing him this coming week. And Xavier Hutchinson had a carry for 17, the rookie receiver. Tank Dell had a carry for 13, and CJ Stroud had the 2 carries for 8 and a touchdown, like we said earlier. Noah Brown leading the team receiving, just a monster day. 7 catches, 172 yards on 8 targets. Waiver wire out of the week, just absolute stellar stuff. If Nico Collins misses more time, keep plugging in Noah Brown. He is a start as long as Nico Collins is out, and maybe he'll have value after that. We'll just have to watch when Nico gets back. Dalton Schultz, 4 catches for 71 yards. Really solid tight end stuff there. Tank Dell, 6 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. He also led the team in targets by a mile with 14. He is the receiver I would want to roster out of this group. I think he has just crazy explosion. He has the most upside. I know Noah Brown went nuts in this one, but I think once Nico Collins comes back, that tall outside receiver load that all went to Noah Brown in this one is going to get divided between Collins and Brown. And Tank Dell can just keep all the slot work and keep being super productive because his explosion is special. He has a connection with Stroud, so the future is extremely bright for the Texans offense. And Tank Dell, if there's any way you could add him from this, because I think this is still a buy low. 56 yards is going to be a low output relative to the rest of the season. So hang on to Tank Dell. I think he's going to be a gem towards the end of the season here. John Mechie, 2 catches for 25 yards on 2 targets. Robert Woods didn't make much of an impact coming back from injury. 3 targets, 1 catch, 15 yards. It'll be interesting to see if he gets more work as we get further away from his injury here and he gets more time to recover. Devin Singletary just had the 1 catch for 11 yards to his monster day on the ground. Mike Boone had 2 catches for 6 yards, and Xavier Hutchinson did not haul in his only target. For the Bengals, Joe Burrow was 27-40, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also had 5 carries for 20 yards. He's an every single week sort of play. I know this isn't QB1 sort of stuff, but he's still someone you start. Don't even think about the matchup. He's your guy. Joe Mixon had 11 carries for 46 yards and a rushing touchdown. He also had 2 catches for -1 yards. Really just solid stuff from Joe Mixon, like middle of the road. This is what he's going to get you every week, around 10 to 15 points. Like, you could do much worse than having Joe Mixon, especially with the state of running back right now. At least you know when they do run the ball, they are going to give it to Joe Mixon every time. Jamar Chase almost didn't play in this one with an injury, but 5 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown is awesome. Another guy, if he's active, you got to play Jamar Chase every single week. He's, talking yourself out of playing Jamar Chase just doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth, Like, you got to play Jamar Chase. He's Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd really stepped up with T. Higgins out. 8 catches, 117 yards on 12 targets. I thought Trenton Irwin would have a little bit more of an impact. 2 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. But that's solid enough fill-in output right there by Irwin. Tyler Boyd is the stud here, though. 117 yards on 8 catches, leading the team in targets by a lot. Definitely add him if he's on your wire. Next week, we'll see if T. Higgins plays, but if he doesn't, I think Tyler Boyd is looking like a really solid option. Tanner Hudson had 6 catches for 33 yards and 7 targets. Had more targets than Jamar Chase, which is interesting, but I wouldn't read into that too much. Drew Sample had 2 catches for 12 yards on 3 targets. Irv Smith had a catch for 6. Travion Williams, a backup running back, had a catch for 2. Mitchell Wilcox did not haul in his only target. Andre Ishvash did not haul in his only target. And Joe Mixon had the 2 catches for -1 on 3 targets.